Hey, how's it going? It's Virgil. Like, when starting this collection, it was a matter of, like, my call and response to what is luxury clothing, you know, not fashion. So my investigation has been sort of like what's at the root of clothing and like a human sort of desire. I was infatuated by this idea of like the great outdoors. And then there's a little bit of influence from sort of muses like Jamiroquai. You know, in a way, you know, he was a UK musician that was very far from my sort of, you know, bipolar American understanding of music. It was either like rock and roll or rap. And I liked both of them. But then, you know, an artist like Jamiroquai comes around and like mixes like funk, soul, pop music with, you know, an attitude that seemed like rock and roll, but definitely wasn't, and, you know, makes these sort of intriguing sound. And I've always been into this idea of linking music and fashion in some literal or non-literal ways, but a muse like him, you know, sort of opened my mind about what music can be. And it turns out he had a strong fashion sensibility. The theme that, you know, is important to know is this notion of boyhood, like what makes menswear. You know, boys make menswear. And then at the same time, I was sort of interested in dwelling upon the aftermath of the first fashion show. So this was like a breath of fresh air. You know, there's a reality about the color palette that people actually wear. So I was keen on sort of playing within that. It's sort of like this matrix of using the DNA and vocabulary that I started in, but extending it into the theme of the season. And that's where like the casting and the sort of inner circle of my friends and collaborators and fellow artists sort of plugs in to this work of fashion. You could be a musician, you could be a writer, you could be an architect. And for me, I'm more interested about the thought process and then their relationship to their own work and what does it look like. That's sort of like the back end loop that inspires me to make things. I guess I must have like not taken the sort of literal understanding of what an architect was supposed to be. You know, I was looking at like a Nirvana video and I would see Kurt Cobain wearing like a flannel. I could go to my local like mall and buy that and I would make it in my own way. This sort of chip on my shoulder that I'm trying to sort of battle against is to figure out a way of analyzing, like, is like fashion with a capital S still relevant? You know, like I believe that it is. I'm just investigating against it